Oh, that is always a disturbing gift. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. It's me, the boy, who hurt his back and is still dying from it. Oh, goodness. So, as the title says today, I think it says it here. We're gonna finish reading. We're gonna finish reading what we got written down finally after all this time. All this time. But I just saw the other message you sent me, Lime. That's an amazing picture. Sorry for that brief moment of silence, everybody, but hope you all are doing well today. I'll open up my Microsoft Word account. I can have what we're reading ready to go. We also, I think, at some point we'll need to open up a new document to start the chapter 4 through 6 layout that we should be getting to tonight. Looking forward to that. Hope you all are too. It is funny how I have like my Halo CE script that I started well before the remake was officially announced as a recent document. Still on Microsoft Word. Whee! The boat's alright. So we were at the last break of chapter 3. I do wonder if there's going to be parts we're going to want to rewrite at some point, but I think that will come. Ooh, Adbot's got red text today. Innocent. Menacing. But we're here. Yes, the subscription goal reset because it's a new month. It's okay. I always forget it's a thing, honestly, because I don't really push for like subs or gifted subs or like prime subs. It feels so disingenuous to sit there and like ask for that. Maybe it's just me. Let's be honest, it's 100% me. There's no denying it. It is 100% just me not wanting to like ask for subs or any of that stuff. So I feel like I need to adjust the properties of this. I need to go into here. Yeah. Goodness. Bring that up just a little bit. Just a little bit. I think here is good, right? Is here good? I feel like here is good. Yeah, that looks good. Just slightly in the yellow. I think that's what we want. Oh, yeah. And then with everything else, it's kind of good. Well, hello, everybody. Hello, gamers. Hello, writers. Hello, friends, family, and all. Today, the objective is we're going to finish reading chapter 3. Finally. We're going to finish reading all that we have for the Arcane Chronicles that is currently written. We're gonna finish it. I cannot get funny clips. No, it's okay. I will say that's fine. But yeah, we got like, we're at what, page 80? Did they tell me? Why are you not telling me what page we're on? Why is it only saying 180? There we go, 82. We got 6 pages left to read. Well, probably because they hate you, Lines. They don't want you playing Team Fortress 2 right now. Also, I'm skipping Autumn Voyage. Not that I have anything against Autumn Voyage. I'm just like, I wanna actually read. So, a couple of housekeeping things. I've talked with a couple people off stream, and I'm going to be gauging interest with other people. So I'll bring it up a couple times tonight, more than likely, as we stream, as more people get in here. So we're kind of just doing the whole, like, I'm not quite reading yet thing, so let me get to the scene. Oh, Limes, don't be sad. Don't be sad, Limes. They'll be back. Valve will make sure it's up and running again here soon. But I know we talked about it in the past a handful of times, and I've just been lazy about it. Like, we're 2 months late on the whole Discord server for everybody. But that's because I didn't realize how much work went into one, and I just haven't had the time to continue working on the Discord server. Been having a lot of stuff go on outside of work and streaming that has kind of led to what time I've had available for some of that stuff to go through on. So what we're going to be doing here before too long is I'm thinking either sometime this month or maybe in September. I'm going to see about, I'm going to be gaining interest to see, gauging, that's the word, gauging. I'm going to be gauging interest to see if you guys would want to do like a Halo custom games night. Now, it's not an original idea, mind you. A lot of people that do play Halo will open up like a community custom games night. So I'm thinking, if you guys are up for that, we could get together and play some Halo 3 and Halo Reach custom games and have some fun with that. It'll be streamed, so even if you don't have the game, you can still kind of participate. The hope is, what I can do is I'm hoping I'm probably gonna have to take a night off streaming to set up some of the stuff, which is fine, you know, no biggie. I'm okay with doing that. But I do want to have some fun stuff set up for you guys to be able to engage with what I do on my end when playing. I gotta look into it. There might be some stuff I can code. Not 100% sure because it'd be a new avenue for me. But the idea is maybe like having a wheel we would spin where like I can only use certain weapons or whatever have you. So, like for playing like Slayer, for example, we'll spin a wheel and it'll say like what weapon types I can use and go from there. So I think that'd be fun. We'll bring this up again too later, you know, so if people ask, I do want to have it set up to where we're gauging interest in a Halo community night where we play some custom games and so on and so forth. So be prepared for that to come up. We'll probably have like a just chatting stream here soon where we get to talk about that. We'll go over and like go through like what are some of our favorite custom games to play in Halo 3 and Halo Reach. What we'll want to have as like rules on my end, because it's also ultimately going to be the test bed for I'm pretty much going to go try my hardest for it. I can't make any promises because I do work full-time and I have other people that have more seniority than me that usually get first pick on vacation time requests. But when vacation time opens up next year, I'm really wanting to try to get a week of my birthday off so we can have our subathon thing, celebrate our 1-year affiliate anniversary. We'll just kind of combine the two together, even though like technically, yes, I got affiliate status in March. I do want to have it where the subathon that we do is tied to that and my birthday, because I feel like that's just the best way to kind of do it. So if the things I want to try to do work and we get them set up properly for the community Halo night, I want to have some of those things be able to translate over to things we do during the subathon, because my plan is I've kind of been building up a list of things to do for the subathon off stream. But one of the things I think would be a lot of fun to do is doing like a challenge run for playing like the Halo campaign missions, where chat votes on skulls and you can pay to have a skull turned on for a mission. And then I get X amount of tries to get the mission done. And if I don't get the mission done, I give out gifts and subs or something like that. I got to look into it to see how I can do that without it triggering additional time added to the subathon in my end. But I feel like that'd be a really fun thing to do. I feel like you guys would have a blast with that. So, again, we'll talk about this later, but I figured now would be a good time to bring it up. So, I should have recorded this so I could just upload it. Anyways, we're gaining, so long and short of it, gauging interest for a Halo custom games night. Might make it a monthly thing, a bi-monthly thing. We'll kind of play it by ear, see how it works for everybody, because it'll have to be on the weekend. I think that's when the most people are available to be free. I don't want it to compete or conflict with anyone else's time that they have for their community nights, and I think the weekend's the safest bet for it. But yeah, so I hope that is something worth talking about. I'm going to make a note to talk about this again at the end of stream, so we don't forget about it. But let me do this one. This for 7. With the fries in the bag, that is not what I want this alarm named. Alright. So, with that all being said, we'll talk about it again at the end of stream. We'll have more moments to kind of go over it with everybody. But my thinking is, what we'll do for that is we'll either use a server that we're all in already, or I'll make a special server up for it just for that night alone, and then go from there. So we'll talk about it again at the end of stream, but right now we're gonna go ahead and get back into reading. So yeah, we'll talk more about it at the end of stream, so we can kind of like go over and gauge interest. But today we're finally finishing reading chapter 3 of the Arcane Chronicles. I can't believe it's taken us like 3 streams to read through this all, but I guess that makes sense, considering like each stream was like a chapter. So, again, we're not too crazy on word count with this story. We're at 88 pages. We're at 39,000 words. So it's not too crazy, but I just read out loud slowly. So, yeah. But anyways, I think outside of a couple other niche things, we can talk about more after stream. I want to, again, we've done this for like 4 streams now. I really want to get through reading so we can get back to writing and doing other things. It's just, it's not to say that I haven't wanted to play anything else. I have wanted to play anything else. It's just I'm in such a good creative pick with this writing. I want to keep feeding into it, but I'm noticing it's starting to diminish other areas. So I need to kind of like tune back a little bit on the writing and reading so I don't burn myself out. But anyways, what we'll do is we'll probably go back to like 2 streams a week, being reading and writing, whatever have you. Especially once we get back to the outline phase, after we're done with tonight. Yeah. If you guys have any questions about like what we'll be looking for with like the game night, what you'll need, so on and so forth, we'll probably cover those at the end of the stream too. Again, I got a note. I got an alarm set, so I should remember. But speaking of remembering, where we left off with chapter 1. Santa's profound. All right. So, where we left off, Esoterra got nuked by Reagan after he got edge guarded while him and Dakota were playing Super Smash Brothers on the rooftops, and he got launched 50 stories down and didn't die. So take with that information what you will. Is the power scaling a little ridiculous here? Yeah, but the story isn't meant to be really taken seriously with power scaling. It's just meant to be. I'm sure some people will be like, he is cataclysmic level something stupid or other because he can withstand an impact from 50 stories up. Whatever. He overcame his terminal velocity. Yeah, whatever. It's cringe. I got death battle stuff on the mind because of Tahu versus Kai death battle that's coming out this month. I'm probably going to do a stream talking about it because I still can't get over the idea of it being just like Tahu is going to just decimate Kai, but like with some of the bull crap that Kai can do as an Ninjago character is like, oh, maybe not, because Bionicle, what it doesn't define, it doesn't define, but what it does define, it really defines. And Ninjago doesn't have a lot of define, or they have a lot of defined stuff, but no limits to what the definitions of those things are. From what I've read, I still think my boy Taku's going to win. Taku's the GOAT. Anyways, back to the reading. It had been a few hours now since the Bloodsmith had left Dakota behind to deal with the fledgling vampire. But in that time, all Reagan seemed to do was wait and bide. I still think that bide his time. In that time, all Reagan seemed to do was wait and bide. All that Reagan. I think it needs to be this. All that Reagan seemed to do is wait and bide his time. Aqueducts. Where's Moon Strike? Blasted Wolf, I may have missed my chance. Reagan thought to himself as he looked back over to the Red Veins' hideout. His goal was to catch their leader here and force him to give over the gang and all its operations to the Bloodsmith in exchange for their new unnatural life. The vampire checked over his body for any signs of lasting damage from that fall he had taken while battling them. Dakota. I feel like we don't need this here because we know who he talks about mutt. Reagan needed to be rid of that mutt. You can go Dakota. Reagan needed to be rid of Dakota before this was all said and done, but tonight was the night the Bloodsmith had to do this. I think we can just go because it's like Reagan, this, that. I think that makes sense. Reagan needed to be rid of Dakota before this was all said and done, but tonight was the night he had to do this. Nothing else could. Nothing else could get in the way. This night was the night. Alright, I feel like that's good too because it's a different subject matter in the paragraph. Reagan needed to be rid of Dakota before this was all said and done, but tonight was the night he had to do this. Nothing else can get in the way. He was already short on it. This night was the night when all the lieutenants of the Red Veins would come and have their monthly meetings. As typically, the different lieutenants would be scattered all over New Albany, managing their different districts and operations. Not only that, but they often change the location of their meetings to keep people or law enforcement guilds from interfering with their business affairs. There would be no other chance for him to take all the leaders of the Red Veins out in one simple location. There'd be no other chance for him to take out the leaders of the Red Veins out in one simple location. He will time. Otherwise, Doing that would gain more attention to his two. You need to do this all at once. Okay. I want to reread this and make sure it flows right. Then this night was the night when all the lieutenants of the Red Veins would come and have their monthly meetings. Typically, the different lieutenants would be scattered all over New Albany, managing their different districts and operations. Not only that, but they often change locations of their meetings to keep people or law enforcement guilds keep the other gangs. Do other gangs, or do I want to do? Because there's only them and the Purple Hand. Let's do that. Let's just say the Purple Hand. Keep the Purple Hand or law enforcement guilds from interfering with their business affairs. There would be no other chance for him to take all the leaders of the Red Veins out. Take all the other leaders of the Red Veins over. Because he's not killing them, he's taking them over. There'd be no chance for him to take all the leaders of the Red Veins over in one simple location in any good window of time. Otherwise, he'd have to go hunting them individually if he wanted to still take over the gang this month. Doing that would cause him to gain more attention than what he was doing. Too much attention. Doing that would cause him to gain too much attention. Risk. The postman. Doing that would cause him to gain too much attention. Risk the postman. Oh, you had to make something really, really stupid? I can't wait to see what it is. Oh, no. Oh, no. What did you do? Did you do lines? Doing that would cause him to gain too much attention and risk the hire postman properly. He needed this done all at once. Send it to you, but it's unrelated to this. That's fine. If I can watch it without being too distracted, we'll be good to go. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. I keep stretching and there we go, man. Better easy pickings. It's a few seconds long, IDK. We'll find out. I don't think it's going to pick up Discord audio, but just to be sure, I'm going to double check. That's pretty great. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but it's pretty awesome. That's great. I love that line. That was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. That reads an awful lot like what Team Fortress 2 is in 2026. I love it. That's great. Anyways, back to the reading. We needed this all done at once. Better easy pickings than a hard day. Or better easy pickings than hard work, Father used to say. No, Team Fortress 2 is a great meme factory, I think. Better easy pickings than hard work is what Father used to say. Father used to say. I think that's a good way to put it. The building was that of a warehouse, disguised as... The building was that of a warehouse, disguised as one. Well, disguised as one at least. It could have very well been one for whatever shell company the gang used to help all their illicit... Oh, we already know what the building is. Building. What was it, Wagner? Wagner Co. and Co. Logistics and Handling. See, this is why it's important to like read over work. Building. Oh. Okay. Son of a warehouse. Oh, this warehouse. I don't want to. It's a highlight. As it could be used to help hide all the gangs, legal smuggling, and other nefarious activities. Okay. I still want to correct that. Alright, there we go. The building of Wagner and Co. Logistics and Handling was that of a warehouse. Building was a warehouse. That of warehouse. The building of Wagner & Co. Logistics and Handling was a warehouse, a good, subtle building blending in with all the other warehouses at the docks, fitting designs for a hub of operations as it could be used to help hide all the gang's illegal smuggling and other nefarious activities. Unlike the Purple Hand, primarily did more white-collar dealings and other associated top-shelf crimes, the Red Fangs dealt with more darker affairs, true blue-collared crimes, arms dealing, drug smuggling, among lesser savory activities. Should probably be a colon. Arms dealing. They were about as evil of a gang one could get out here in. It was perfect for what the Bloodsmith needed. He needed some low lives looking to do some truly evil crimes, and to be bold enough to go toe-to-toe with the postman. The vampire knew little about most anything else of the Red Veins. Oh, earlier I spent a long time analyzing the TF2 shorts to see if I could make a timeline out of it. Kinda made one. Okay. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. I think you'd do great with that one. The vampire knew little about most anything else of the Red Veins. He knew that their boss was a pure-blooded mountain dwarf that hailed from a long line of brutal capitalists that ran mining guilds all over the old continent and even managed to be in charge of several construction and mining guilds here in this new world. Oh no!
Start the game already!
Hello, Romulus. Ooh, that would be fun. Hope you're doing well today, Romulus. It's good to see you. What is that? What is that? You're throwing a pine cone at me? That took me out of it. It did not look like a pine cone. Pets. Good to see you, Romulus. Very good to see you, buddy. Yes. They hailed from a long line of brutal capitalists that ran mining guilds all over the old continent and even managed to be in charge of several construction and mining guilds here in this new world. Hornbrow Magnus Coppersoul the 15th, just as brutal as any of his ancestors, having even taken over the family business over 30 years ago from his aged father when Hornbrout betrayed him. The dwarf sold his father out to gain control over another gang's property, allegedly. Any dwarf willing to sell his own family, let alone his father, out for something like that, that is not to be taken lightly. But Empire Lord to be lying, didn't think that did make, but the Vampire Lord would be lying if he be lying. Would be he didn't say that did nation did make taking over this guild all the more better. For heartless people tended to only focus on things that truly matter most. For all, heartless people tended the Bloodsmith, no, making money. Nah, he's not a capitalist like that. Obtaining the Bloodsmith then saw a convoy of vehicles that began to pour into. There's ads? There's an ad? Why are you punching Edbot? He did nothing wrong. Also, I didn't hear it say that we had an ad income. Did I just not hear the Subawubba? Romulus, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Romulus. You back from ads? Whiz. All right. Hello, chum. Now that is actually a brick being thrown at me, Romulus. Hope you're doing well, chum. It is good to see you here. Hope you're doing well tonight. The Bloodsmith then saw the convoy of vehicles that began to pour into the aqueducts, heading in a scattered approach towards that lone warehouse. The last several vehicles that did come through were mostly still going to the Velvet Rose Casino here. He stood up straighter from his vantage point, checked over his gear once more. Thankfully, in all that excitement earlier, he didn't need to use his gun, nor any of his other haphazardly fashioned gear to deal with Dakota. Thinking about stuff again? What stuff you thinking about? None of it was even damaged in that. Should be a fun night. Might even have a chance to make some new friends. The vampire would then channel his blood magics to allow him to float over to the roof adjacent to the Red Veins warehouse. He could plan his entry. How mundane life is. Oh, I'll be honest. With everything that's been going on in life, I think I'd be okay with a little bit of some mundanity in my day-to-day. You know? Not trying to belittle your feeling about how life is mundane, but it's just I'm tired of living through historical events. I'm tired of having just some absolute crazy stuff go on. I'd be okay with some quiet times right now. Someplace quiet where I can just finish my book. Should be a fun night. Might have a chance to make some new friends. Want to live in the woods and do jack shit? Yeah, I'll be honest. There's a sweet spot, I think, of where I would want to live in relativity to like others around me. I think that sweet spot's like 15 minutes. Because like if it's a half hour, you run into the issue of not having things of convenience near you. Like grocery stores, like gas stations, that kind of stuff, right? So I would at least want to be like 15 minutes away from people living in like town or something like that. I feel like that's a sweet spot. Because the other thing is too, is grocery shopping. That's about how long it takes for stuff to like start to get to room temp while sitting in your vehicle. So it's like I'm thinking about it also from this perspective of like I don't want to have to get a cooler to do my grocery shopping, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And plus, having that much distance between you and any sort of civilization means it's probably going to take double that time for like emergency response crews to get to you, right? You were on a 20 streak? Chum, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. I hope it's been a good 20 streams for you, chum. Smugly said to himself before leaping into the sky. Vampire would then channel his blood magic, so allow him to float over to the roof adjacent to the Red Veins warehouse so he could. The rooftop of the warehouse did only have 4 guards stationed on top, nothing that the Bloodsmith couldn't handle. They'd serve as good refills for him and dregs for him to use to trap everyone else inside. Perfect cannon fodder. Good backup details. Oh, that is true. You do tend to watch me at work, which is kind of also really funny to me because I don't know if I have other people that do that or like comment if they are doing that. But I mean, hey, so long as everybody else is cool with it, I guess at work. It is kind of an interesting thought to have is like how many people watch me while they're at work. Like I know you do because you just said so, but like other viewers that stop by, like are they also watching me at work? No. Let's see here. Perfect cannon fodder and good backup details. He continued to survey the rooftop and found that it only had one entrance and exit up top. Ladders are going down the sides of massive bay doors that would have 4 in total. Should work. Probably a lot since we're usually very bored. No. Well, are you like the only one that's watching me? Or do you have your phone up where other people could watch me too? I only ask because like at work, they'll have a speaker set up, which they're not technically supposed to in another team, where they have like a radio playing. And sometimes they'll put on like the game or something like that. It's alright, this should work. I don't have my phone. Okay, gotcha. He did softly hiss, though, as he may need more than people. He watched the convoys of vehicles as they parked. Armed guards came out first to escort the representative leaders inside. It sounds like you're about to, Limes. Good luck. Stick my phone in a pocket. Oh, cheeky. Not to say that I'm sponsored or have a sponsorship or trying to, like, swindle one in, but does your work frown upon the usage of like bone conductive hearing devices? Because like a headphone pocket or a headphone, unless you're talking like it's already like like a Bluetooth wireless one, like an AirPod or whatever. Because like at work we use these things called aftershocks, which is just a name brand version of like a bone conductive hearing device, where it's like a Bluetooth headset basically. They're pretty nice. I really like mine. The only thing I wish that mine did slightly better was it had a better mic on it, but you can buy them with like an actual microphone. Because like I would like to talk on the phone sometimes at work. Oh, I see. He did something hiss though, as he may need more than 4 people. Watched the convoy vehicles as they parked. Armed guards came out first to escort their respective leaders inside. He counted roughly 24 heavily armed gang members as they hurried inside through one main bay door. Each group kept at least one thug outside to discourage the curious and keep watch over the building. All exits were covered by guards. That did challenge things. That's a grenade. Grenade! All exits were covered now. All exits were now covered by guards. Change things a bit of now. That's a huge hit. All done on the gambling. That's a full bar. The Bloodsmith rose up and looked over the building once more, plotting his course of action as he figured he needed at least 10 gang members to lock the building down. Hit an arm. Could take the rooftop ones first, then work his way around, taking each other one out as they locked the building down. Solid plan. But it might take too long. Though at the first sign of trouble, it would mean that the gang would likely try to flee. He could plan for an ambush for them out in the parking zone. The ideas for attacks rattled about in his brain before he realized the simplest answer was right there before him. Just sneak in the rooftop, then turn himself in. It could work, given the fact that the Red Vein leaders might want the muscle he had available to him work. The idea would allow himself to get close to Wernbraut without causing any issues. Plus, if anyone got too froggy, he could show them why he was needed. So, realistically, he needed one poor soul. Last guard out by the parking zone. Perfect for his needs. Vampire leapt down from his vantage point, scurried about in the darkness between the lights as he snuck. Is snuck actually a word? Hold on. I'm gonna do a Google search. Like it how it's like one of the first researches here. The one is like properly. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the regular technical of English, but the century's most. I think we'll just stick with neat. Maybe we do crept. Probably do crept there. Hold on. Vampire leapt down from his android and scurried about in the darkness between lines as he creeped stealthily. To his first victim. Before that game member could react, Reagan ensnared him in a cloud of dark red vapor, drawing him back up to his rooftop vantage point. The bloodsmith started to siphon off most of his life force and blood, making the gang member into a thrall. Gave him just enough money. Thrall. Reagan could get inside properly. Bloodsmith started to siphon off most of his life force and blood, making the gang member into a thrall, so Reagan could get inside properly, while the thug acted like he was still truly part of the gang. He had the member then bind the gangster. Do we want to call them gangsters? I think we'll just go thug. Gangster and plot. I don't like the connotation gangster can have. Not that I'm against things being called gangster. It's just like, you hear the term gangster and you think of either like MTV parody of like what gangs are like, or you think of like Chicago typewriter wielding people like Al Capone. This guy isn't quite Al Capone level, nor is he a stereotype. I mean, well, he's not a you know what I mean. The vampire leapt down from his android and scurried about in the darkness between the lines as he stealthily made his way to his first. Before that game member could react, Reagan ensnared him in a cloud of dark red vapor, dragging him back up to his rooftop vantage point. Bloodsmith started to siphon off most of his life force and blood, making the game member into a thrall so that Reagan could get inside properly. All the while, yes, they do get the gang stars. It's true. I did watch part 5. I think that was the last part of JoJo I fully watched. Once it went to Netflix, I didn't want to have Netflix, so I just never watched part 6. I did read part 6 though. Do I remember everything in part 6? No, because a lot of stuff happens in part 6. So that's my defense. I did not read all of part 7. That's where I stopped really paying attention to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It wasn't that I had anything against like the Steel Ball Run or anything like that. I just couldn't keep up. You know what? I wasn't even close to like being caught up though either, but I remember one time and it was and everything happened. Yeah. Whole new world. I remember that. freaking nuts. You know how many times I had to reread that part to actually comprehend what was going on? I think I reread that part in the manga like 12 times. That's not hyperbole. I think I sat there, read it. I was like, okay, let me read it again to make sure I understand what's going on. I had to do that like 7 times in that, especially towards the end, like fighting, what was his name? The dude with the dragon. Jade Dragon or whatever. That fight I had to reread a couple times too to even wrap my head around what was going on. I think that was really what started doing me in on JoJo, was just like how complicated things were getting. Right? Because like in part 5 and part 4, the stands still kind of made somewhat sense with like what they did. They weren't so esoteric in their approaches, but like some of the later stands in like part 5 and 6 were just like, what? My doggo brain could not comprehend. All the while, the thug acted like he was still truly part of the gang. He had the thug then bind him up in some rusted chains nearby, nothing too tight that he couldn't get free of, tight enough to sell the idea he had on him. Then dove into the Thrall's mind, telling him everything he needed to say and do, allowing for what should be a flawless capture and takeover gang, while also giving him the ability to make more Thrall once things were settled. An ability he meant to test on some law enforcement, but simple gang members. Yeah, Source Filmmaker is nightmarish, to say the least. I remember when I wanted to make Source Filmmaker shorts in high school. After a few minutes of carefully planning and plotting, soon he would be brought before the main bay door. The meeting would have only roughly been going on for about 20 minutes at this point. Plenty of time for the leaders to have their interest piqued by the vampire turning himself in, with the promise of a business idea. With the promise of a business idea. Plenty of time for the leaders to have their interests piqued by the vampire turning in. All with the promise of a business idea as well. By the Bloodsmith. The members of the Red Vein Gang, stationed outside would page in, nodding, letting the vampire in with a guard, along with 2 more of their group. I'm seriously reinstalling Source Filmmaker to make one image. It's gonna. Hey, the dedication, it's worth it, Limes. Got this. I believe in you, girl. Me when I have to take all my Bionicles out of storage to start building mocks again. The members of the Red Vein stationed. Is it Red Vein or Red Veins? I don't know why I want to say Red Veins. I think it's okay to have a Red Veins hiding. Red Veins. It is Veins. the Red Veins, stationed outside Wood Pageant, before nodding and letting the vampire into the guard, along with two. They will see you, postman. It's also kind of funny, too, how, like, technically, postman works in the sense of, like, them collecting posts, but also because of, like, Dakota being a werewolf and Reagan being a vampire, and then other ones being, like, a dragon. We haven't met the Dragonkin one yet, but the Dragonkin one I think is going to be really, really cool, but I don't know when I want to introduce him. Oh, goodness. Oh, sorry. Like, now that my back isn't hurting near as much, it's like I can tell that I've been, like, keeping it in one position for too long. I'm, like, needing to, like, stretch. Oh, great heavens. Oh, good heavens. I love how much I started saying that, ironically, in video games. The one letting them in would say, make sure he's given a warm welcome. The guard sneered, but the group stepped inside with Reagan captured. As he was led inside, the thrall stayed close behind the vampire, doing his duty, where they would all end up in the center of the main warehouse's shelving units before a wide half circle table. A circle table. Stout-looking dwarf at the center of the table. He grunted, sat. At the center. He grunted and stood up. Well, I do gotta say, not expecting such special company here tonight. Hornbrout felt his last name wrong. Hornbrout chuckled softly as he motioned forward. Please do come forward. I hear you have a business proposal. Huh? We should speak. As the group moved in, the thrall would split back, heading to fulfill his tasks as the other gangs and guards behind Reagan pulled his chains tightly, keeping their guns jabbed into his back. Well, first off, love your name. Such a fitting name for a gang led by an old-timer such as yourself. Big fan of your works, too. And well, you know, he gestured to his current look wardrobe and seeming lack of anything substantial to be a threat. Oh, this is Reagan talking, that's right. Here, gangs. That's right, it is Reagan talking. Well, first off, love your gang's name, Vampire Lord began. Such a fitting name for a gang led by an old-timer such as yourself. Big fan of your works, too, and well, as you know, he gestured to his current look, wardrobe, and seeming lack of anything substantial to be a threat. I need the work. My last job didn't quite like what I have done, you see. The bloodsmith then started. Size up the dwarf. Despite him being the 15th, Hornbrout the dwarf, Hornbrout was a grizzly and old enough to be considered the 10th or even the 9th. His hair was well past being gray and slowly becoming whiter. That would make drinking his blood all the less tasty. The age of the dwarf would make drinking his blood all the less tasty. He was a burly dwarf, covered in rune tattoos from his family and his tribe, as the pale skin on him stood out in bright contrast to the dark metalwork he had on his head. A tough dwarf, forged through many brutal fights and cunning business decisions. You might be saying, should we hire you? You might be saying, why should we hire you? Fallen Postman continued. Well, my skill set is beyond anything your guards have. No offense, but, he said, looking over to the other lieutenants here as well. Most were human-ish. Maybe mixed with a dwarf, elf, orc. All that wouldn't matter much, as they'd follow him regardless. They would. I feel like when you do, they would follow him regardless. I know all sorts of weapons combat, how to work any piece of machinery of war or otherwise. I'm a natural go-getter. I have capabilities to help get anything you want or into anywhere I please. The Bloodsmith continued as the Sorrow began to convert some of the other guards outside. He had hoped that the thralls would wait for a signal before beginning the lockdown and sealing him inside. I hope to, at least, get a high position in your gang here. He looked up to Warrenbrow with a smile. If that's all the same to you. You've turned yourself in for a job? Warrenbrow asked, keeping his voice level as he looked over the Bloodsmith. I'll accept, but what makes you think I'll give you any position without having you prove to yourself yet? Waved his hand. You don't seem like the kind to settle for grunt work. What will it be? What role will be after? The other lieutenants seemed to be taken back by him. Put his name here. Route. Just so easily. The other lieutenants seemed to be taken back by Rorenbrow just so easily. Lord began to pipe up from their seats. You want him to just join us? What if this is a trick? He's not to be trusted. Don't you know what he's done? The postman would surely make us the top priority. We cannot have this. We should just kill him on the spot, be rid of him, and turn him in for the prophet. The voices were hushed as Wormbrow brought his hands up to silence, looking back at them with a cold enough malice that even the vampire lord felt the room chill. So, what are you aiming for? I think we'll work a deal out or quickly. The dwarf said, rubbing his hands together. Just so long as you're willing to work for it and swear loyalty to the Red Vein's name. And to me. Oh, nothing crazy, the Bloodsmith said, having his blood magic begin its work, seeping out of his tattered robes as the building's power was cut. Just yours. The fight lasted for all of 3 minutes. With the first thrall being given the Bloodsmith's blood, he was able to quickly convert other gang members into becoming thralls as well. Each one of the thralls would begin their work on taking out as many of the other guards quickly and with relative ease. Luckily for the new crime boss, not one of the gang members had perished in his assault. The gang was not equipped to handle a vampire, let alone 10 thralls and their lord. The Bloodsmith first acted upon the guards on him, draining them partially as he used his own blood magic to keep them from fleeing or firing off their guns into him. You want a date, Reagan? So does that hit right, you guys think? Do you like how it goes, oh, nothing too crazy, just yours? I love that. I love that, like, snark right there. I think that's so perfect. And it only lasted 3 minutes. His hostile takeover was done in 3 minutes. I think that's really good. And it shows just how powerful. I'm listening. Did you like his sales pitch, there, chum? Did you enjoy? Did he sell himself to you? Hear me out. I love. The fight lasted for all of 3 minutes, with the first thrall being given the bloodsmith's blood. He was able to quickly convert other gang members into becoming not into beards but nerds. Fair enough. Yeah, like, Bloodsmith doesn't have facial hair. So there's that. I have a beard, though, so sorry. I am a nerd. Each one of the thralls would begin their work in taking out as many of the other guardsmen quickly and with relative ease. Luckily for the new crime boss, none of the gang members had perished in his assault. The gang was not equipped to handle a vampire, let alone 10 thralls and their lord. The bloodsmith first acted on the guards, training them partially as he used his blood magic to keep them from fleeing or firing off their guns. He fed them his own accursed blood to finally break them too old. Yeah, I am old. Also, thanks. Appreciate that. I'm Unk. I wear that badge with pride. I know what I'm about. The Vampire Lord wouldn't make any of them dregs just yet, as he needed to keep as many here fit for service as possible. He then sent his thralls to capture the lieutenants as well, keeping the 5 of them secured by their former loyal guards, each one pleading with the bloodsmith as he just simply shook his head in response. Relax. I don't aim to kill any of you just yet. He paused. Well, ever, actually. If you all agree that I, the bloodsmith, am the new leader of your wretched gang. He then turned his attention back to Wormbrow. While the 5 lieutenants began panically chattering amongst themselves, the vampire ignored them and rolled his eyes before pointing at the old dwarf. You, however, I need to make an example of. The bloodsmith motioned for some of his new thrall, bring over the terrified dwarven boss. You see, I got to not have anyone outside of here realize what I've done. So, the bloodsmith hefted up the elderly dwarf by his neck, began his dark work. The dark crimson vapor engulfed Wormbrow slowly as he pleaded for his life. No one would acknowledge his pleas. Outside of that warehouse, all anyone would hear was the dying shrieks of Wormbrow, the old boss having finished out his last days as Lord of the Rings. There we go. Welcome to your new role here in my gang, Wormbrow. He spat out, disgusted by the taste of that dwarf's old blood. Enjoy your new life of being an example of those who will oppose my rules here. Lieutenants, please note what will become of you should you disobey me or try to turn on me. I do not wish to make you my thralls, but I will not hesitate to make you dregs. He said, having a handful of his thralls whisk Wormbrow away for good. The bloodsmith, Lord of the Red Veins. It does have a good ring to it. He turned his back to his new gang and smiled darkly. Night fell completely over New Albany now, as Dakota stood atop the highest spire in the city. He looked out over the night's horizon as he exhaled deep. Things had begun to move in ways he wouldn't be able to predict. In a short time, the werewolf postman had much of his world changed yet again. Unlike that night from a year ago, Dakota had a sense of hope in his heart. Things were going to get better, even if the night ahead was still darker than before. And there we go. That's end chapter 3. That's end of everything we've had written. How are we feeling about it? What are we thinking? Are we liking the direction that these 3 chapters have went, our quote unquote episode 1. I feel like we're in a good spot. I feel like we get enough of action, world building to kind of like satiate some things. How are we feeling? It's very good. Thank you. Do you think I need to update the document that you have the line? So I'll see about doing that. But yeah, so if we're wanting to, is there anything else we think we should add here? I feel like it'd be too much to have Azatera also be on the roof with Dakota. I think that might be like an end of chapter 6 or something further on down the line, like maybe chapter 9. Because remember, we're giving this 20 chapters. So in 20 chapters, we need to have the rise of the Bloodsmith fully realized, the conflict, and then the resolution. So I think if we look at it through the lens of like, we are a 1/6 of the way through the season, I feel like we set the stage pretty well here, right? If I remember correctly, I think it was like 20 some odd chapters we were going to do, wasn't it? I need to get the layout. I need to read what we had for the layout here. Yeah, so chapters to episodes, thinking 3 chapters to a single episode on average, openers to cold. Yeah, so one outline. Yeah, so I don't know if we ever actually written down how many chapters we were going to do. If we're going with like the idea of a show, it's like what? Typical season's what, 12 episodes? I feel like 36 chapters is going to be too much, though. Let's aim for 24. I feel like 24 is a good amount of chapters to aim for. We can go from there. Because I think that what we had before for the chapters to episodes, I'm thinking we need to reevaluate that, but we'll see. I think it's going to depend on like what happens in the chapters that dictate like episodes, so we can be a bit more flexible with that. But yeah, that's the end of chapter 3. Let's go ahead and get a new Word document going here. Put it over there. Let's do new document. File, save. See. I have a folder for the Arcane Chronicles. Should probably make a folder for the Arcane Chronicles. Okay. We're gonna make a new folder here. New folder. All right, let me make sure that this source has a... There we go. Let's open up. Loot salad. All right. The first thing we're going to do, the new document. This is going to be... All right, let's get to it. Chapters 4 through 6 outline. What is the objective we want to cover? All right, so I'm thinking what we're going to do. Finger writing is your... Oh, thank you, Limes. Oh. It's okay. It's okay, girl. It's not the end of the world. Don't worry about it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a very brief start to the outline of things we want to cover in 4 through 6. My thinking is Bloodsmith preparing for his war is going to be the last thing. Move that down here. Bloodsmith truly getting settled into his new role as a gang leader. Dakota telling Emily the truth. Emily learning about blank. Not the agent. Something about... Alright. Bloodsmith preparing for his war. Alright, so I'm thinking what we need to cover in these next 3 chapters, and we can kind of flow on some of them. But the Bloodsmith getting truly settled into his new role as a gang leader. So, like, him having to, like, understand that he can't just boss people around and expect things to work. So there'll be some character growth there for him. But bad character growth, evil character growth. As a terror getting used to her new body. Discord for a sec. Oh. That's a lot. That's a lot, Limes. Okay. So my thinking is for the 4 through 6 outline is Bloodsmith getting truly settled into his new role as a gang leader, evil character growth, maybe have him start experimenting on his gang. I mean, dude, that's insane. Okay. So my thinking is, one of the things we need to cover at some point is this. We need to show the Bloodsmith getting more used to being a vampire lord. Dakota needs to tell Emily the truth. This might be like chapter 6 stuff, maybe? Because I do want because some of the drama I want to have happen in this chapter is, let me go ahead and just make it. Uh-oh. What happened, Limes? That expression usually only means something bad has happened. This is a tad bit alarming. Okay. So, chapters 4 through 6 outline Bloodsmith getting truly settled into his new role as a gang leader, evil character growth. Make this. That is annoying. Introduce his evil Lyn. Do we even want to have him have an evil Lyn character? Reagan, the Bloodsmith, do we want him to have, like, his vampire queen? Dakota telling Emily the truth. You can't make that cloth work for you. So I think we're also going to want to start talking about, because remember in the forward we have that one message the clerk gets about meeting somebody at the top of Stanford Tower at 2200 hours. I think we're going to have that be the moment when it's revealed that the Arcane Regent had been doing oh oh dear. That is unfortunate. So my thinking is, we'll have it be revealed. This might be something that's taken care of in a later book, but I do want some seed planting stuff to go into future books by doing this. So my thinking is, we got Bloodsmith, his evil Lyn, his vampire queen, his queen of the damned. Dakota telling Emily the truth, the whole truth, everything. 6-6 maybe share. Emily learning about blank, not the Arcane Regent, but something about Elroy maybe working with hand. Special effects. Huh? It took me a second. Fear. Hope you've been doing well. It's good to see you back here. You just got here as we started working on the outlines for the next batch of chapters. We're going to be writing for chapters 4 through 6 of the Arcane Chronicles. We finished up chapter 3 a couple days ago, and I just read through everything. We finished up the last 6 pages today. So if you're curious, because I bet you are, chapters, the foreword, the prologue, and the... Well, I mean, I have my life in order enough to know that we are at... So, we are at 88 pages so far in the book. We have 39,396 words, and this is all unedited, so this is subject to change. Oh, trust me, if we go and compare the notes from the original outline that we did for chapters 1 through 3, and then compare to what we've actually written down, you will be like, yeah, no, there's no order here, just chaos. But I know it's been a minute since you've been here, so the forward, the prologue, everything so far that we have written down as actual book material for the Arcane Chronicles is nearly 40,000 words, and we're at 88 pages. So my brain, yeah, I need to write some things down because I'll forget them otherwise. So that's why we're doing this here now. Yeah, we did work. I can't claim to have done it all by myself because I had all you guys here. You could be here to bounce ideas off of. So how am I? Due to, well, I mean, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And Ed. So Ed is a nickname that I went by. So the reason why, I don't know if I've ever actually explained this recently, but for everybody new here, the name TheSavageED, name that I go by on Twitch, most of my social media, and like my Xbox gamer tag from back in the day, started because me and my older brother were trying to think of names to go by for like Xbox Live for obvious reasons, and I kept wanting to do something related to like Monocle, but that was kind of cringe. At least that's what he said. Oh, see, I'm a little slow right now. Yeah. Got me there. I completely missed that joke. But no, so the Ed in the name actually was meant to just be Ed, like the name Ed, not capital ED. But what had happened is when I made my gamer tag back in the day, I had kept the cap locks on, and without even thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I just kept it there. Yeah, so that's, and then I realized later that ED is an abbreviation for erectile dysfunction. Hard times indeed. Oh, man. Last we talked, you were going through exams, right? How'd those go? How'd your finals go? Hope they went well. As a Terra getting used to your new body, maybe introduce her to postman options. Oh, studies, gotcha. My bad. You have to repeat one? Well, I mean, only having to repeat one's not too bad. And that's good that you passed the 2 that you worried about the most. Oh no, limes. What happened? Oh, limes. That's not good. Got 2 months to learn, so Bing Shiling. Yes. Bing Shiling is a good spot to be at. Miller making his move to plant seeds for books. What happened at the Stanford Tower? 2,200 hours on Night of 1,000 Stars. The Arcane region having kidnapped families for something. Yeah. should probably actually go over a brief thing of what happened in the last few chapters for you here. So, chapter 1, I'm pretty sure you know what happens in chapter 1. Chapter 2, Dakota meets with Elray Trueleaf Riviera, the eccentric high elf that runs one of the libraries near Silverscale, the school that Emily Howell goes to. He is a gambler. He is planning on taking over one of the gangs in Albany because he's wanting to have it where he can stop making people want to become postmen because heroes are bad, and other reasons too. So we learned about his objective. We met Gregor, the half-orc smuggler, who I think is one of my favorite side characters that I've made up, and I really do need to figure out how to use him more. I think we're gonna have him come back here. Gregor, return. I do like Gregor. I think Gregor's gonna play a role in this chapter. I think it's gonna be small though. That might be end of chapter 6. What's this? Because I like Gregor. I'm gonna be honest, I really like Gregor. I think he's one of the best side characters we've made. Because he's a half orc with a mechanical arm, a third mechanical arm, and it would be so fitting for him to just be like an actual heart of gold character. And plus, we want some emotional weight, so maybe he dies later on in the story. Who knows? You gotta kill your darlings after all, right? Spoilers, maybe? Visitor getting used to your new body, maybe introducing her to new postman augments as well. After chapter 6, Elray making his moves to plant seeds for later books. It's past midnight. It is good seeing you, Fear. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good rest. See you next time, buddy. Let's see here. Getting used to your new body. Yeah, that do happen, Limes. Pride before the fall and all that, all right? I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back. The body needs to go. The body shall return. All ends are beginnings. We're not quite there yet for that, but you know. Alrighty. What all do we want to cover in this chapter? How do I help? How do I help, Limes? Providing maybe introducing your postmodern as well. Alright, making see moves, plant seeds for later books. Are we covering too many characters here? Scared. Might be scared, friend. What ails you? What ails you, friend? I'm making moves. Oh well, yeah, Source Filmmaker is scary. And I guess the better question we should have for this should be here's what we're gonna do with this. I like this. Cut that though, we're gonna put in the Twitch character doc. Put this all the way at the bottom. Alright. Gurg returns! Does he help someone? Emily from the Red Vein Thugs? Alright, so this is what I'm thinking we're going to do. Chapter 4 will open up with this. Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Bloodsmith getting settled in his new role as gang leader. Evil character growth. Maybe have him start experimenting on his gang, figuring out what all he can do as a vampire lord. Introduces Evil Lynn, his vampire queen, his queen of the damned. One of the lieutenants that likes him. Who should she be? Why should she after? Ford 2. All right, Chapter 4, Bloodsmith getting truly settled into his new role as gang leader, evil character growth, maybe have him start experimenting on his gang, figuring out what he can do as a vampire lord, introduces Evil Lynn, his vampire queen, his queen of the damned, one of the lieutenants that actually likes the vampire lord as their new boss. Who should she be? Why is she after what a vampire lord can do? Coda telling Emily the truth, the whole truth, everything, telling her she wasn't made this way by the postman, but by the Arcane Regent, the military guild. Chapter 6 stuff, maybe have her share what she picked up from Ellery here too. This is going to go away because we've already decided that this needs to be. Learning about the Regent chapter 6 stuff. Uh-oh. Lines what happened. Really learning who Ellery truly is. I was very about T. It had preset. Oh my word. Hey, you know what? At least you learned that now, Limes, versus any other time where it would have not been beneficial. You know, like after you've done it all. Where you said by mistake? Okay, sorry, on. Talk about the meeting him. Mistake. I need to scroll down a little bit so you can actually see what I'm typing up for chapter 6. Emily stuff. Talking to Coda. Emily talking to Coda about she learns. It's chapter 4. 6. So, chapter 4, Bloodsmith truly getting settled in his new role as gang leader. Time skip 1 month. I think having a month time skip here is okay. Because it allows for other story stuff to happen if needed. That we can have happen outside the books. So, like, let's see here. If the main story is April. April. So this would be May. So this is now end of. This could be beginning of June, where school's out. Done leaving. Being Emily to focus on secondary classes. Alright. Time skip 1 month. Primary college classes are done, leaving Emily to focus on her secondary classes for her aiming to join the postman. Bloodsmith, having had time to augment his soldiers and steadily increasing the gang's growth and power in the Undercity. Make a note of how the Red Veins no longer work with the police guilds as they had previously. Quid pro quo antics. Over. No one safe. Good. Bloodsmith getting truly settled in his new role as a gang leader, Eva character growth, maybe having to start experimenting on his gang. Should probably make the next vampire tier. Eggs. All. There's. See. Go to tell Emily the truth, the whole truth, everything. Telling her this way about the postman, about the arcane region. How does she react? Emily, Dakota telling Emily the truth. Dakota? Talk about her joining postman. The whole truth, everything, telling her how she reacts. Let's see here. Dakota and Emily talk about her joining the postman. Dakota finally gives his blessing with Ragest being there too. This is blessing for Emily. To become a post. She 2 more years. Or I guess being there too. Look, you did it. That you did. Well done, Limes. I knew you could do it. All right. While I have your attention, this paragraph right here for the outline of what I want to have happen in chapter 4. Dakota and Emily talk about her joining the Postmen. Dakota finally gives his blessing for Emily to become a postman after she's done with school 2 more years, with Ragist being there too, belittling Dakota for lying about this for so long. Stuff so long. Dakota telling Emily the truth, the whole truth, everything, telling her he wasn't made this way by the postman, but by the Arcane Regent, the military guild. How does she react? Does she already know? She's smart. She might have already pieced it together. As a Terra getting used to her new body, maybe introduce her to new postman augments as well. Maybe after chapter 6, how does she find out the vampire side of her now? Chapter 5. Emily learning about who Elray truly is, have her start being worried about using his library as she overhears him by mistake talking with leader of the Purple Hand Gang. Being their leader by mistake as well. Right. Elray making his move to plant seeds for later books. Gregor returns. Does he help someone? Emily from Red Gang thugs? Do they know there were red veins? Do they thugs? She was Dakota's sister. Six. All right. Chapter 5. Emily learns that who Elray truly is, or start being wary about using his library after as she overhears him by mistake talking with the leader of the Purple Hand Gang, meeting their leader by mistake as well. However, they're actually kind of good. That's odd. Elray making his move to plant seeds for later books. Pure blood takeover hints. Gregor returns. Does he help someone? Emily from Red Gang thugs. Do they know those? Do they know that they were red veins? Did the thug know she was Dakota's sister? Chapter 6. Emily talking to Dakota about what she learns from overhearing Elray and the leader of the Purple Hand. Purple Hand, as he then has to go into work. Have her share what she picked up from Elray here. Lost in Dakota, Integrity Thought, that says tense tease effect Bloodsmith preparing for his war. But to ask for protection to Emily, introduce Dragonkin, Postman, Agent, and Gregor. He loves Corey. story. Chapter 6. I feel like that's a pretty good outline of stuff to cover. Let's see here. Is there anything else we want to go over? We should probably introduce more characters. Chapter 5. Alright. I feel like of all the chapters here, I think chapter 5 is missing some sauce. And the fight's gonna take the Techno Dragon fight is gonna take some work. So I feel pretty good about that. Techno Dragon fight, the project that had its escaped. Oh, or under this. Do it. Dragon fight. 6. Only talking to Dakota, what you overheard of Alroy Purple Hand. He has to go to work. Share what you picked up from Alroy here. Take your protection. Alright. I'm already starting to like plant seeds in my head about some depressing stuff that can happen with her meeting characters, Emily meeting these characters. Lost in Dakota and Carrie get the thrall. That silenced Dakota's stretch call teased the fact that the Bloodsmith is preparing for his war. Asks for protection for Emily. Introduce the Dragonkin Dragon Postman and agent, and have Gregor is chosen to protect Emily. He loves Quarry. Oh, that's gross. It actually made it an emoji. Oh boy. Bloodsmith learns of Dakota's sister. I will take everything he has ever loved away from him. We introduced the Bloodsmith's first night, his perfected weapon of war. Tonight. All right. So chapter 4. Start working on this more. I feel like chapter 4, out of all the chapters, we got a lot. It's gonna be. I think chapter 4 is going to be freaking dense, though. Because it's like, time skip 1 month. Emily's on college classes, which is why she learns about that. Dakota should fight the Techno Dragon. I feel like we need Dakota to do something more here. What should Dakota do in chapter 4? Skip 1 month. All right, Dakota continues to hunt for the Bloodsmith. No new leads. No new anything on him. Have note of the Red Veins becoming more active as criminals. Maybe he fights a group of them. Have one be a thrall that the Bloodsmith uses to learn more about Dakota's new abilities. Bloodsmith gets truly settled into his new role as gang leader. Dakota and Emily talk about that. Esoterra. Shabadi. Alright, I feel like we got enough stuff here for chapter 4. Time skip is 1 month. Primary college classes are done, leaving Emily to focus on her secondary classes for her aiming to join the postman. Bloodsmith having time to augment his soldiers and steadily increase the gang's growth and power in the Undercity. Make note of how the Red Veins no longer work the police guilds like they had previously. Quid pro quo antics are over. No one is safe from the Red Veins. Dakota continues his hunt for the Bloodsmith. Leads no anything on him. Have note the Red Veins becoming much more criminals. Maybe he fights off a group of them. Have one be a thrall that the Bloodsmith uses to learn more about Dakota's new abilities. Have him realize why that sword scares him. It's the blade that killed the vampire I was made from. Bloodsmith getting truly settled into his new role as a gang leader. Evil character growth. Maybe have him start experimenting on his game and educating us on the different levels of vampires, dregs, thralls, soldiers, etc. Figuring out what he can do as a vampire. Lord introduce his evil Lynn, his vampire queen. Is Queen of the Damned. One of the lieutenants that actually likes the Bloodsmith as their new boss. Who should she be? Chair. Oh, it didn't. Hold on. Tits died. Give me a second. I gotta fix Tits. I hate it when it decides to take a dump. I'm sorry, Dotman. Shouldn't have failed like that. I really wish I knew why I kept DCing, though. That's the second time it's done that now. Since like, it did that the last time we threw a Jeremy too, didn't it? The junk. That's looking good. Hold on, let me get this back going here. Yeah, it's done it a few times now, too. Like, I don't... See, the thing is, like, I wish I knew what disconnected it from Twitch. Because, like, on my end, there's nothing that, like, tells me when it's disconnected from Twitch, right? We go ahead and go back to here. Try that again. I gave you your points back, by the way. See if that works. I think it looks really, really good. Oh, hold on. Let me actually watch this. Oh, no, that was 100% worth it, Limes. What do you mean? That was so good. That was so good, Limes. What do you mean? That's perfect. Also, I just realized the Microsoft Word document is no longer showing. It's really well done. I appreciate, like, it's crazy to me. Like, you put a lot of effort in there. Don't sell yourself short there. All right. Dot, did you get your widgets back? All right, that's working.
Start the game already!
It's working. No idea, but I'm act like I did. I mean, it is only 150, which isn't a ton, but like, yeah, no, I get it. One more. Oh, no! All right, throw bots back. Wait, you can't see your Twitch points on mobile? Oh, it's because it. Yeah, I know why it does that. It's pretty dumb. All right. I feel like chapter 4's got enough stuff now. Go to continues his hunt for the Bloodsmith. There's that run-in. We talk about the gang, his history as a terror, gets used. Go to her spars, gets used to her powers. Really learns about who Elray truly is. To worry about using his libraries. He overhears talking about gang. Odd. Elray makes his moves to plant seeds for later books. Pure blood take over hints. Gregor returns as he helps Emily from Red Gang thugs. Do they know they were Red Veins? Did the thugs know she was Dakota's sister? Expect no dragon fight. Project that escaped from who else but the Arcane Regent? All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting Getting sleepy. Let's see here. Dang. Oh. If it makes you feel any better, Limes, I think it's really good. I think it was very well done. Cool. Little clip. I liked it a lot. 6. Emily talking to Dakota about what she learns from overhearing Alray and the leader of the Purple Hand Gang. Is he then has to go to work. Have her share why she picked up on from Alray here, but it takes her to a section. She gets to meet Quincy and Howard. They love her. Seeing stuff to the character. Oh, but I don't mean to say this in like a harsh way, but I think it still conveys enough of what the character is that you had in that little clip that the message gets crossed. I could be so bold. Boss and Dakota interrogate to throw all that silence. Dakota's stretch skull tease the fact that the Goldsmith is preparing for war. Ask for protection for Emily. Introduce the Dragon Postman agent and Gregor, chosen to help protect Emily. He loves Corey. This will become important later. No. Do you have to? Like, realistically, do you? Because, like, unless it's like you can go to the piece before it was rendered and you don't have to, like, redo the whole thing from scratch. Well, then I guess if you can't sleep without it. Although this comically large shrine can begs to differ. I love that bit so much. Oh, you can't just reopen it? Oh, thank the Lord. I feel like we're still light on some of these chapters. Because my fear is, right, is how soon into the story do we want to start seeing the vampiric influence on the Red Veins? You know what I mean? Like, how early do we want it to be where it's like, Reagan starts making his moves to do more shit with the, honestly, we might want to also outline chapter 7 too. I like working in 3 chapter chunks, but I feel like we might need to do 4 chunks for this one. Because, like, the first 3 chapters, they fit for what they're trying to do. I feel like they're good start for the story and what would be a show. So I feel like chapters 4 through 6 are going to be shorter inherently. So do we want to add in... Because, like, chapter 5 is going to feel like filler because now they're fighting a freaking dragon out of nowhere. So I wonder if we need to do something about that. So my thinking is we should have it be 5. Because, like, see, like, this is paragraphs. This is not paragraphs. This is not paragraphs. So I feel like we need more for chapter 5. Chapter 5. Thinking about who Alray is. Probably should scroll up so you guys can actually see that. Our King Regent has to make feel like we need that. I feel like the fight is enough. It just not satisfied with how short this is. I feel like this needs to be at a different part in the chapter. Techno Dragon fight. Right. 6. Per. Alright, I got it. So, introduces verse vampiric attack since the Night of a Thousand Stars, and that they were able to cure the infected person. This enrages the Bloodsmith, as they're the only ones in the gang that could make new vampires are you. Which one is sloppy? Welcome back in, Romulus. So you bacon? Gambling. Let's see here. Chapter 6. Alright, so chapter 5. Emily learning about who Ellery truly is. After start being worried about using his library, she overhears him by mistake talking with the leader of the Purple Hand Gang, meeting the leader by mistake as well. However, they're actually kind of good. That's odd. Ellery making his move to plant seeds for later books. Pure blood takeover hints. The Techno Dragon fight. The Project Escape from who else but the Arcane Regent as Atera's first mission with Dakota. Gregor returns. Does he help summon Emily from Red Gang thugs? Did Gregor know? We introduce the Bloodsmith's first knight, his perfected weapon of war, but who to test it on. Does he also learn to convert animal kin into vampires? Does he plan on sending this monster out for the sake of it? Chapter 6. Emily is talking to Dakota. Fight. Boss integrate Thrall. No one. Be prepared. Alright. I think with this all, we got enough stuff to... Oh, that's a grenade inbound, isn't it? Oh dear. Not a grenade. Please! I just wrote all this. I don't want to have to rewrite it. Don't do it. You don't need to do this, Dot. You don't need to do this, Dot. Please. 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 I shall embrace the sweet release of death. What about style? You know what we need? We need style. We also could use a lizard.
Lizard.
Alright. Feel like we got a good enough outline here. We got things that will lead into later chapters, like chapter 9 fight is the first night. That's when Dakota learns about the Red Veins being taken over, but they're no longer at where they should be. Okay, so I think we got a good outline to start with here, but we're gonna go into some housekeeping. We're housekeeping real quickly before things get too wet and wild here. I made mention of it at the beginning of the stream, so we're gonna be doing it again here. But actually write it down. I just realized I spelled crane, not arcane. So, little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of, hey, how's things been going, real quick, before we end stream. We're going to be doing a Halo community night at some point here soon. TM soon. I do plan on doing it before the end of this month. Looking at my calendar, I know this weekend we're going to be building Ikimu and Skull Grinder, and then Sunday I might be busy. We'll see. So I'm thinking either the next weekend of the 15th and the 16th, we may either the weekend of the 15th and 16th or the 22nd and the 23rd, we're going to be doing the Halo Community Night. Now, what I mean by the Halo Community Night is what we'll be doing, if there's enough people and enough interest, I want to get a bunch of people together to play some Halo 3 and Halo Reach custom games on the Master Chief Collection. I'm hoping to do this. I mean, we should be able to do it unmodded and just use, so that way then people who have Game Pass on PC should just be able to download MCC and use it through there. I think it's still on Game Pass. I'm not 100% sure. But the idea is that we'll be doing some classic Halo 3 and Halo Reach custom games, maybe just some Slayer games. And what I want to do is I want to have it where it's a test bed for when we do the subathon next year, because I want to have it where there will be things where we redeem a challenge for me to deal with in game. So an example would be like if we're playing Slayer, I can only use certain types of weapons. Like I can't pick up like a battle rifle, for example. I can only use like the like assault rifle, magnum, whatever have you. No power weapon challenge, things like that. We'll have that be a wheel. So the idea is, or it'll be also a test bed for when we actually go through and do the subathon. Because I want to have it where like we can have challenges for me to do while playing Halo. I'll also see about making it so that like you can vote on difficulty. We'll see if I can get that all ready to go, but that's the idea for the community night, is just to play multiplayer games, custom games, things like that together. So I'll be gauging interest with some other friends of mine. I've already asked a couple. They seem to be interested, just so long as it lines up with what time they're free. So we'll go from there. The hope is, I mean, obviously we'll stream it, but it'll be one of those things where like, if you guys also want to stream, go ahead. I think it'll be fun to have that. Whoever all wants to stream, go for there. Other than that, some light housekeeping. I plan on changing up my streaming schedule. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do yet, but I think I'm going to change a couple of my days off around so that I'm off in a chunk of days, along with being streaming for a chunk of days. I think just with how life's been, I think it'll be better that way to have a little bit more consistency in planning on what days I know I'm normally free to do streams and what days I'm normally in the air for doing streams. But yeah, other than that, I really got nothing else to add. If you guys have questions about the Halo Community Night or you have other ideas, you already have me on Discord, hit me up. Otherwise, just try to get a hold of me on Twitter and I'll talk to you there, or Blue Sky, whatever works best for you. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted about it because I also want to use it as a test bed for things to do during the subathon I plan on doing in June, because it'll be like my 1 year anniversary as an affiliate and then also my birthday. Even though my 1 year's affiliate is in March, we're going to be celebrating it in June because 2-for-1 specials are always good, right? But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm thinking we can do is, do we want to raid? Do we want to raid Rashira? I think we can raid Rashira. You guys cool if I go ahead and raid Rashira? I think we're gonna do that. I like her. She is a good friend. Plus, you know, quick little jump scare. I think we'll be fine. Especially considering, oh, she's on Factory. I think we're gonna do that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Thank you guys for being here. We're gonna go ahead and get this raid going here. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop my music. Wait like 10 seconds, hold on.
Oh my god, it was different. I think.
Yeah. I'm hearing her in stereo. But yeah, night everybody.